My name is Brad Crane, and I'm the President and CEO of Arvest Bank. Arvest Bank is grateful to be a part of the 90 Ideas Forum. We think it's a great investment of your time and of our dollars in our community.
From your lips to God's ear. Rich is good. You can do a lot of good things if you are wealthy. So I have a confession to make, and that was, it was never my life's ambition to be a university president. I'm now in my second presidency, and it has been a great adventure. And so I'm not going to cover all 10 items on my list because you've got them in writing, but just a couple of things that I have come to value over the years as I look to care for and lead the institutions that I serve. The first one is we think of as leaders, how do we lead? And this actually comes, so I gave a teaser in my first leadership where I said lead with a third-class ticket, but I said there's a story behind it. I'll now share with you the story. So when I was being inaugurated at Evangel University as their first female president, so one strategy, this is kind of a side note, one strategy for the Assemblies of God in cultivating female leaders is just take one female leader and move her from institution to institution. So, no, not really. Because now they've got two, happen to be the same person. So it's, you know, these inaugurations, they're formal events. We put on we call it our academic plumage, and it's now the moment comes when you accept the responsibility of serving your institution in that role. And Dr. George Wood was doing that installation, and he began by telling a story, and it was actually the story of a third-class ticket. I will share that with you now. He said, so in stagecoach travel, also, afterwards, I actually went and bought a book about stagecoach travel just to make sure the story was telling was actually true versus a nice story that had a nice metaphor. And actually, it turns out it is true. So there were 3 classes of tickets to stagecoach travel in our country. The first class ticket bought you the most privileged seat on the stagecoach. You had the best seat. From that seat, you actually had a view of pretty much nothing. You didn't have to watch people laboring to put the bags on the coach. You didn't have to look at people working. It was a privileged seat. And if the coach got in trouble, you could keep that seat. You didn't have to disembark. Everyone else could get around and make your travel more comfortable. Second class ticket. So if you had a second class ticket and the coach got in trouble, you would actually have to disembark. It was still a good seat, not as good as first class, but you would disembark from the coach. But you didn't have to actually engage and dirty your hands in any labor. You could stand on the side of the road and watch everybody else go to work and get the coach ready to travel again. But then there's a third class ticket. Third class ticket had the worst seat on the coach. You actually were expected to, this came in the Omaha World Herald when they had all the etiquettes of stagecoach travel. I commend that to you if you like to Google such information. But said you were expected with a third class ticket to kind of roll up your sleeves, help do the work. If the coach got in trouble, you were expected to disembark and do whatever was necessary to get the coach moving again. It was the least privileged seat in the coach. And at that point, Dr. Wood turned to me and said, congratulations, you've accepted a third-class ticket. We read a lot about servant leadership, and for me, that metaphor of a third-class ticket really captures the essence of how we choose to lead. We can choose to lead our organizations, and it doesn't matter whether you have the role of president and CEO, or if you're a manager, if you're a mid-level manager, or if you are just beginning that journey of influence and leadership. But we all choose how we'll take that journey. And so for me, I took very seriously that commitment that day to say, I will choose to lead this institution with a third-class ticket. Actually, it turns out, as I have discovered, it is the best seat on the coach. And it says a lot about how we serve our institutions. So I commend that to you. I now actually have framed on the wall in my office an authentic third-class stagecoach ticket that a board member found for me on eBay and had it framed for me as a reminder. So if I'm going to lead with a third-class ticket, the next point goes to how do we build teams that will help, because you can't push a coach on your own. You can't lead an organization in isolation. You have to have a team that's willing to take that journey with you. And that actually goes to my second point, and that is the teams that we build. Who do we look for to be part of that team? And for me, I look for people that have certainly competence, There's nothing that can replace skill and competence. But that alone does not get you a team that's going to get you where you want to go. So I look for people who I often ask at some point in an interview, as we talk about the hard work that we have ahead of us, is, are you going to be all in? I need to know if you're going to commit to the journey. Angela Duckworth wrote a book recently, so a lot of talk about resilience and the ability to keep going. I loved her book, Grit, the power of perseverance and passion, that combination. So it takes more than competence. It takes people that will have a passion and make a commitment to persevere and take the journey with you and do it together. And then finally is, I will leave you with actually it's from Simon Sinek in his book, You Have to Discover the Why. First, why do we do what we do? And it has to be more than, I love his comment on when Martin Luther King stood on the steps and gave his famous less than 20-minute speech. He did not inspire the nation by standing on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial saying, guys, I have a plan. His passion and his inspiration was to stand on those steps and say, I have a dream. And we have to find that passion and dream and vision for our organizations that not only fuel us, but will fuel the organizations that we serve. So my question is, what's your passion? What's your dream for your organization? And to think deeply about how you inspire your community to take that journey with you. Do it with a third-class ticket. Do it with a team that will commit to taking the journey with you. And it'll be a grand adventure, I promise you. Thank you.